letters about a data breach are hitting Triad area mailboxes and causing some confusion. They're from a company that's nobody's heard of, and people are asking the Better Business Bureau, hey, is this a scam? So Lechelle Yates with the Better Business Bureau is here to talk about these. So these letters, they're for real?
So the data breach, yeah, so the data breach involved Conduent.
Okay.
They process data for a company, Blue Cross Blue Shield.
Sure.
And that's why nobody is familiar with the company. So, the breach can affect up to 25 million people, and that may be the largest healthcare data breach in history.
And so we're talking like the regular things in a data breach, right? We're talking about names and addresses, social security numbers, and I'm sure because it's Blue Cross Blue Shields, it's medical information and all that kind of jazz.
So all of that.
Okay.
Now, the letter, of course, also offers a year's worth of credit monitoring with a deadline to sign up for the service. And so you ask the question, is this real? And this is real, but we are starting to see some lookalike letters hit mailboxes, and they're trying to steal sensitive information.
Okay, so if we get a letter, right, about the Conduent breach, which a lot of you are going to be doing, what steps do we need to make sure that the letter that we're getting that says you get free credit monitoring is actually real?
So the letters contain the name of a credit monitoring company. They also contain an activation code and a verification ID. So the very first thing that you need to do is go online and manually search for the company that's named in the letter. Don't use any of the information that is in the letter. Look for the general customer support number for the company that's named, and then call and ask if your activation code and verification ID are valid. Second, get out your ask if Conduent handled a breach notification related to your plan. Now, if neither company can confirm the information, assume that the letter you received is fake and do not take any steps.
Okay, so that's how you figure out if it's real. I mean, you got to jump through a few hoops to be able to do that. So once you figure out it's real, should you then sign up for the free credit monitoring? Because it sounds like it's a good deal to get that free credit monitoring.
Yeah, and you should absolutely sign up, because the reality is all the information that criminals need to steal your identity is already out there. You can't reverse the breach, but you can keep an eye on what happens next. And that's where the credit monitoring helps. So if anything new pops up, like credit cards or a loan or an account that you didn't open, you get alerted quickly so that you can act before it turns into something bigger.
Okay, and what we're showing you on the screen right now is a credit freeze, and there's a reason why you're told to do a credit freeze.
Yeah, so a credit freeze allows you to use your credit cards that you already have, but it stops scammers from opening new accounts in your name. It is one of the strongest protections after a breach.
Yeah, and you need to go to each one of the credit bureaus to do that, right?
You do. You have to go to each credit bureau to do this. It's free, and you can do it online, or that you can call. Now, once you set up the freeze, you do get a PIN that allows you to unfreeze your credit anytime that you might want to apply for a credit card or buy a car or open like a utility account or something like that. Now, at the most, it could take up to 3 days to unlock your credit. It really is a simple process, and it is very well worth the effort.
Okay, so we have credit monitoring, which you do want to sign up for. You just want to make sure that it's real. And then we have a credit freeze, which you can do on your own for free as well. What else should we be doing to protect our information?
Well, since this breach involved health insurance details, you want to make sure that you are monitoring your explanation of benefits and make sure that they cover only your doctor visits and expenses that are related to your health care. And if you're on Medicare, you want to make sure you monitor those statements as well. And sometimes passwords and emails are exposed. They haven't said that specifically about this breach, but they could be involved, so you want to make sure that you reset your passwords. Unfortunately, I know that can be a real hassle, but you do want to make sure you do that.
Right, and it's one of these things too, if you normally get like a refund on your taxes, you probably want to be filing your taxes sooner rather than later.
Yeah, you definitely want to go ahead and file your taxes, because if you file, then nobody else can file in your name, which is something that could happen this time of the year. I mean, they've got your social security number. They could definitely file. You can also get a PIN from the IRS, which would stop them from filing in your name. And also something else that can happen is during this time, scammers like to send out emails, and they might call you to say that you need to sign up for some of this credit monitoring. these companies are never going to hound you to do this. So that is definitely going to be fake if you get an email or a phone call about credit monitoring after a breach.
Okay. And even if you haven't gotten a letter about a data breach, you should probably be freezing your credit anyway. It's one of the easiest ways to do that.
Yeah.
Lechelle joining us from BBB. Maybe you need to send this interview to someone else so that they can watch it later on and protect their identity. That's going to be in the Who Wants to Know section of our website. Right now, we're going to take a look at the forecast.